Hello, hi, and welcome back to protoViolence. I don't know what to tell you, folks. I don't know what the future holds for us for the rest of this game, but I can tell you right now, I don't think it's gonna be for the squeamish. So, if the idea from the last episode of having seen a child have their legs amputated needlessly, because science, if that's a little too much for you, I'm gonna understand if you want to duck out now, because we are digging deep now into the reasons that Deidre Destrange ended up leaving Stop. I have to imagine we are going to start seeing the formulation of her now beginning to more directly fight back against the things that are being done in her name. I just think it's gonna be rough from here on out. I don't think that we're smooth sailing. So again, if you're squeamish, I understand and need to bow out. That's totally understandable. But for the rest of us, bring on the trauma. Case study report 9-3-2070X. I am absolutely appalled at the Youth Training and Development Initiative's decision to perform major amputation on trainee C0 or CO458. Improvements in synchronization rates are irrelevant. This technology was only ever introduced for use in adults, save for rare exceptions. The relatively static state of the adult body allows for easier construction of prosthetics, and only a mentally mature individual can reasonably be expected to endure the inevitable side effects of cybernetic implantation. Yeah, that's another, you may get good sync rates in children, but they're gonna grow out of these things real freaking fast, and I imagine it's gonna be hella painful. Let me be clear. Rejection symptoms are not a risk. They are an inevitability. For all the advancements in biotech over the past few decades, there have not been enough to stop the body from revolting against artificial neurons when they're stitched to the muscles, or from realizing that a hunk of polyurethane and silicon in the skull is not part of its gray matter. Medication can suppress the body's immune response and stave off seizures, but it is a patch, not a long-term solution. Despite these facts, CO458 was approved for full transformal amputation and implant preparation procedure. I cannot conceive of a scenario that justifies this callous removal of two completely healthy limbs from a young child. The fact remains that CO458's quality of life has been significantly impacted for no reason beyond the YTDI's goals. If this is the level to which the YTDI is allowed to conduct itself, then it is clear to me that STOP has become little better than the organization it once worked to quash. There is no theoretical threat or future crime that justifies what I have witnessed. If this is what my research is now supporting, then I would rather have never pursued it in the first place. Dr. Deidre Destrange. All right, looks like we've just got phone and diary. September 3rd, 2070X. They took his legs. As if stripping him of his name wasn't enough, they ripped his legs off his body. Why? I can't think of any good reason for this. Pavel, sunlight that he is, said that they planned to give him better ones. He even tried to prove it in spite of the pain. And the worst part is, it's not over. He hasn't graduated yet. The last time I tried to visit him, he'd been taken back for further processing. I had to find out from Shiria of all people. The guards barely seemed to care. Asking about his absence was like asking about the garbage being taken out a day earlier. Someone else did the work, so they didn't need to know. They said all of this while looking at me with that expression they always wore on duty. One of malaise, of superiority, of contempt. Funny how they press the kids to be smilingly obedient while the adults look like bored children. When I entered their room, I noticed a distinct coldness in the air. Shirya looked awful. Had she been eating properly? She seemed so frail. If she was taken to the operating table now, her chances of survival... I have to leave stop. And the YTDI has to go with me. I don't want this, any of this, to be my legacy. As if. What's an academic supposed to do against an intergovernmental organization with unlimited resources and an ever-growing supply of cybernetic muscle? Maybe I can follow Iris's example. This case report will be my indictment of stop. My voice should still carry enough importance to damn it on my way out the door. But if I try to make an impact with my exit instead of leaving quietly, what'll happen next? If I say anything about these cages the kids were kept in, the courts will bury me, and I'll have no hope to stop. And I'll have to hope that stop doesn't single me out extrajudicially. And if they do, I'll have to kiss my future academic opportunities goodbye. I think you'll have to kiss more than that goodbye. I think that you are dealing with an entity that is now above reproach. You will be. She has to know that she will be conveniently disappeared. But so what? They can't expect me to keep quiet after everything I've seen. The one conversation with Angie still makes my blood boil. We were observing a physical education class. The kids were told to run laps to the point of exhaustion. And knowing the YTDI, they probably were forced to run past that point for research purposes. While the teachers were tending to them, Angie leaned over and whispered to me, "Look at how strong they're growing. Healthy and smart and tough as nails. Isn't it incredible?" Then she looked at the back ranks and soured. But there are still stragglers. Gotta iron out the kinks eventually. After she said that, she turned back to me. You know, if that squadron were enrolled in public schools, some PSHE teacher would be coddling them by now. None of them would ever know how much they could achieve with just a little more pressure, with just one more push from someone who knows how much they can take. God, I hate you! Back in school, I knew this kid. Born with a hole in their heart, maybe some large ASD. They had it rough, but they persevered, didn't pity themselves, had pride. But the teachers insisted on coddling them, waiting on them hand and foot, carrying their books, giving them extra exam time, letting them skip phys ed. The adults around them let their condition define their life. By the time we graduated, I barely recognized them. Ended up more ghost than person. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have let them fail themselves like that. Does she think we're still friends? I've been speaking to her less and less. By now, she's basically talking to herself, and I hate seeing her inner ugliness rear its head. I don't even think it's inner ugliness anymore. I think it's pretty much out and out ugliness. It's pretty blatant. She's pretty awful. As soon as Pavel's healthy enough to graduate, I'll make my move. But I'm not leaving Stop without him. D. I've got 2 weeks' notice lined up with Pavel's estimated graduation. The moment he's out of the system, I'm taking him and leaving. Smartest thing you've said in a while. Do you have any concerns? It's possible that they won't let him graduate. Promises for services rendered don't mean much to people who mutilate children. And if my case study is half as explosive as I'm hoping it'll be, it's not the kind of thing that Stop will let circulate for long. There are plenty of people that are willing to listen to you. Not after I slander an internationally beloved crime-fighting organization. We don't have friends in PR or allies in the media. It'd be easy to paint me as another disgruntled former employee, disappointed with the lack of direction in her career and looking for a book deal. Sorry, Deidre. I wish I could tell you that won't happen. But even if things do go to shit on your end, allow me to give you a silver lining. When Pavel gets out, and he will, you can bring him here. Uh-huh. Iris, once upon a time, it was a garage. Then it was an unrealized research lab with some living quarters. Now it's yours. It's no 5-star hotel, but it's not too bad this time of year. There's even a river nearby. I don't know what to say. You're just giving that to me? What did you expect? I'm a wealthy woman with very few hobbies. I would have ended up renting it out if I even remembered it was there. Much better for you two to get some use out of it. Thank you, Iris. I really mean it. I already owe you so much. Hey, the place isn't that big. I'll keep that in mind. You better. I don't want to hear any complaints about it being cramped down the line. Stay safe, Deidre. I'll try. Who are we interviewing now? Going back. I mean, I know Pavel can't possibly be around, so it's got to be. What? Okay, that's usually not a good sign. Red lettering in a visual novel? September 9th, 2070X. We doing an action scene?
Whoa, D.
Uh-oh.
There's a fire drill going on?
What? Oh, no, I was just looking for Pavel. I can't find him anywhere. Pavel? Who's... Oh, CO458. Well, it's okay. I'm certain he's around somewhere. I mean, it's very safe here. It's not like he could have just wandered off. You're saying that, and I know you're saying it with just the shittiest possible meaning because you know his legs got amputated. Of course not. And yes, it is very safe here. What? I'm not convinced that any of this is necessary. You're talking about processing, for starters. D post-op is never going to look pretty. You know that. You've seen it thousands of times. On soldiers, volunteers, adults. You didn't see the places we pulled these kids out of. So, sure, maybe they kind of lived among some rat feces for a little bit. But we're chopping their legs off. That's much better. Filthy, overcrowded, underfunded. This facility's very clean and very well funded. That doesn't make it right. Whatever your justification, I'm not sure I appreciate your tone. We've been nothing but transparent with you from the beginning. We've given you complete access to our building, our resources, even our subjects. I had to fight for you, you know. Then why wasn't I notified about Pavel's processing? Maybe you weren't on the right mailing list. There are no conspiracies here, D. You, of all people, had to have known exactly what the initiative's goals are. Angie, look, I'm not in the mood to argue medical ethics with you on the goddamn hallway. CO458's in recovery. He's fine. What? How?
This isn't some back alley surgeon for hire operation. We know what we're doing. Do you?
We're very good at mutilating children. We can do it with the highest level of efficacy.
Awful?
Oh,
Are
God.
you?
All right, like I said, if you're squeamish, I got a bad feeling about this. I don't know what's coming, but I don't think it's going to be good, given some of those photographs that we saw in that little apartment back in Malviolence. Oh, God. Your head. Your hair. Your eye. It's... Oh, Jesus.
Dr. Deidre?
Oh, man. The production here is really good, too. That animation was slick as shit. I've got you. Just stay right there. Oh, dude. What is even left of him? Has anybody been here to take care of you? Oh. Well, I think so. Shiri's been here at night a few times. Hasn't said much, though. I pretended to be asleep because I think she might be scared of me now. She's probably worried about you. I'll go and talk to her, okay? Okay. I really don't want to upset her. You don't have to worry about upsetting anyone, okay? You haven't done anything wrong. How are you feeling? I don't know. Tired and weird. It's all right. I'm scared. My graduation is soon and I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. What else they'll do to me. Just close your eyes for me, okay? Pavel? He's asleep. Whew. They're going to tear him apart, rearrange him again and again, and not just him. All the other trainees here, all the other children yet to come, over and over and over. And for what? This is my fault. My research laid the foundation for this. My reputation funded this. I let this happen. I did this. There has to be something I can do. No, I have to do something. Something more than writing words on a goddamn page. That's it. I'll break him out, prevent him from graduating, and burn this program down to the ground as we leave. At this point, this isn't even a call for justice. It's just plain cause and effect. Man! I got that feeling in my chest. It's this is really tense. September 16th, 2070X. Oh, it's... Do we have everything? Okay, so we still... All right. Case study report. 9/9/2070X. Met with CO458 today. Engaged in normal conversation and activities with the subject. CO458 became tired shortly into the session, so the visit was cut short after about an hour. All right, she's going straight up, like, clinical with this. CO458's temperature and blood pressure appeared to be higher than normal levels during the visit, recommending an increase of immunosuppressant dosage. Recovery otherwise appears to be on pace with expected timeline. Dr. Deidre Destrange. September 9th, 2070X. I'm going to destroy my life's work. They'll have to update the textbooks. A small footnote at the bottom of the page or in the back of the index. Dr. Deidre Destrange went on to commit multiple terrorist acts. We in no way, shape, or form approve of her blah, blah, blah. Fine by me, so long as they leave my name in. A curious kid might search for that crazy lady's name on the internet, find a case report written by her, and give it a read. Better a pariah who speaks the truth than a diligent researcher who can't stand to look at it. As I walk through the YTDI's halls, my stomach drops whenever I pass the spots I'll rig. Though the guards just stand around and glower at the kids, they're still combat-ready professionals. More than a match for little old me. If they ever catch on to my plans, they could drop me before I even enter the building. Funny. I haven't feared others being able to hear my thoughts since I was in college. I remember feeling guilty when I learned about thermal runaway and lithium-ion batteries. When I realized how easily this knowledge could be reapplied, I was convinced that there was something wrong with me. Maybe I was right back then. Compared to my usual work, making bombs is dead simple. I spent most of my time planning how I would space out the fertilizer purchases. Looking back on it, smuggling Pobble snacks made it... Oh, that's good. Looking back on it, smuggling Pobble snacks made for a fine trial run. I have surefire proof that the guards won't check me. So why am I still so anxious? If it's not my legacy, and it's not the process itself, am I afraid of what'll happen to Pavel after this? I can house him thanks to Iris. I have money. I can cook. But there's still so much I don't know about Pavel. How will I care for his medical needs? How will I educate him? Will freeing him doom him to a life in hiding? And Shreya. And the other children, and every other poor soul that's been victimized by this program. Where will they go once I'm gone? Even if I could house them all, they wouldn't be free to leave. Not would stop on their trail. I'd have just moved them from a spacious cell to a cramped one. A cramped one next to a river. Still... I'd never forgive myself if I left Pavel behind. My research led to him getting hurt. I won't let that happen again. I've done all the planning I can. For now, I think a eulogy to a life of service is in order. To my colleagues, the good ones, I hope you've been working from home. To the rest, you've got no right to complain about what comes next. And to stop, this is war. Plant any more seeds and I'll salt the earth. D. Whew! This is so intense! Do you think I'm doing the right thing? I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I just want to get Pavel out. Aren't you doing precisely that? Yes. But there's a growing list of asterisks. I can't save the other children. The numbers just don't work. And how does that make you feel? Like garbage. Where will they go? They know nothing about the real world. Kids are tougher than you think. Not tougher than stop. You'd be surprised. They'll adapt. That doesn't make me feel any better. I doubt anything could right now. What about a confession? I wanted all this. The recognition, the respect, the budgets, the pay. You know, before I came to stop, I took 5 internships in one summer. Barely got my foot out of the door before I added them to my CV and never looked back. And we all do. That's the game we play. I liked that. I liked playing that game. I was good at it. And there's a sizable cowardly portion of me that doesn't want to give it up. And do you worry about Dr. Tan and the rest? Despite myself, yes. That's just the kind of person you are. In case we don't get the chance to reconnect for a while, let me say this. Every system falls apart eventually. It's entropy. Forest fires are natural and healthy. Stop is no exception. If people are horrified by your findings and your methods, that's for the best. They'll quit. They'll leave in droves. And you'll have gotten them out and you'll have gotten them out of a dark hole. And if I hurt people, then you'll just have to make up for it. And the kids, they'll be strong. Even if their new lives aren't as cushy or clean, there'll be lives that they can choose for themselves. Again, that's not reassuring. I know. Very little is right now. You have a lot to answer for, Dee. You're already a history maker. From here on, I'm sure you'll be making history in a good way. Try to remember that when you eat breakfast with Pavel. Then, is this goodbye? It has to be. But you'll be in my home. I'll be there in some way. In fact, the sheets might still smell like me. Iris, gross. Apologies, couldn't help myself. But you don't need me anymore. You'll do good. You always have. Thank you. Take care now. You were always my star pupil. Deidre. I trust you'll remember me as your mentor and friend. Hopefully when you're retired and peacefully bird watching. Goodbye. I'll miss you, Dr. Kai. Is it Dr. Kai or Dr. Sai? You know, when it's not voiced over and you're not entirely sure, I guess. You know. I guess we are going head first into the breakout.
Hello, Pavel.
Oh, good afternoon, Dr. Deidre.
Feeling all right? Me? It'd take a lot more than this to... It's okay. You can be honest. Did your graduate training not go well? It was scary. Scary and confusing. Could you tell me what happened? What the training was like? Well, they've been running tests on the chip they put in my head. When it turns on, it's like my brain's squeezed into a box or a minecart. It can only go on the tracks. That does sound scary. Yeah. I had to do all these stupid reflex exercises. And after that, they made me solve math problems and other dumb stuff. All while they looked at me over the clipboards and data pads. And so far, I've been doing good. I was doing everything they wanted, even when it felt weird. It felt like somebody was looking over my shoulder. Only that the shoulder wasn't there, and that somebody was me. And someone else was moving my body, speaking for me. Speaking for me like it wasn't my body anymore. I was just so scared. It was gross and strange, and deep breaths, Pavel. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I did something bad. I was upset. I couldn't help it. I couldn't... Pavel? Pavel? Oh my God. I've got you, Pavel. I've got you. You're safe. I'm going to call emergency services right now. You'll be okay. I promise. Shit. Shit, shit, shit. He's on his side. There's nothing in his way, and I've set a timer for 5 minutes. I've done everything I can, but why isn't the emergency call button working? It worked for another trainee. I've seen it before. The maintenance teams always check it. Is there something wrong with his... No. No, 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 no. They wouldn't. They wouldn't dare. Dr. Deidre.
Pavel? It's okay, Pavel. It's okay. I'm here.
You had a seizure, but you're safe, and I've cleaned you up. It's okay.
Why? Why did they do this to me? Why? It hurts. They want to hurt me. They want to punish me, don't they? Because I'm broken. That's why they want to fix me to be like the other kids. I can't stay in line and I never will. They're gonna keep taking me apart until I break. Taking me apart piece by piece like this forever.
God, dude, this is so rough. Oh my God. Pavel, you have to calm down for me, all right? You're going to make yourself sick.
But
It'll be okay. It's over now. I'll make sure they won't hurt you anymore. I mean it. God. Literally disengaged his emergency button, dude. All because he has ADD, basically. That's all this kid's problem was, is that he had ADD. Okay. Okay. I give Pavel a glass of water to sip. His hands are shaking, so I hold the water for him. After that, I help him onto the bed, tuck him in, and wish him good night. Stroke the little amount of hair left on his head. Then I close the door behind me and walk out of the room. The door behind me clicks shut. I don't have the words to describe what I just witnessed, but I don't need a 10-page paper to sum up what I feel. Disgust. They took away his medication. His medication! How in any world is that justifiable as a punishment? He could have died. Pavel gets hammered down because he sticks out, but any kid would do the same. If he's suffering like this, there's no doubt other trainees are. I need to talk to I don't know. I think you need to bring a hammer with you while you're talking to Angie and then assault her with it. I can't believe she's overlooked this for so long. Before I leave for good, I need to look into her eyes and try to make her see. It's not happening! This is not gonna go well at all. I find Angie at the bridge, gazing at the courtyard below. She looks like she did the first day I came here. She hasn't changed at all. As I approach, she turns to give me an unreadable look. For a moment, I barely recognize her. For a moment, part of me wants to believe she's someone else
I imagine
entirely.
you're here to talk about C0458.
I pause. That was unnaturally direct of her. What do you mean? It's the 21st century, D. We've got cameras in every room. I suddenly remember Sharia. her gazing up at the corner of the room, her eyes wide with fear. You were watching that? You were watching that whole time? She blinks. So you saw how I called for help. You saw him go into a seizure because he wasn't given his medication. We don't know that. A lot of the trainees hate taking it. They'll put it under their tongue or, that's bullshit and you know it. Man, these are your precious test subjects. Invaluable troves of medical data. Invaluable troves of medical data. If you wanted to, you could get a doctor to any room in this building in seconds. What are you suggesting? It's not a suggestion. You're punishing him for what happened during his graduate training. There's a long silence. The tension in the air twists my stomach in knots. She's choosing her next words very carefully. Tasting them in her mouth, rolling them around like a boiled sweet. Nostalgia laps at me for a moment, a warm pool at the back of my mind. She used to do this before her research presentations, worrying the inside of her cheek as she awaited my feedback. Maybe you're right. But does it matter, Dee? She doesn't look back. Excuse me? Does what happened to CO458 matter that much? Once he passes graduate training, he's got a stable career set ahead of him. He won't want for food, housing, or guidance. I can't believe what I'm hearing. In exchange for his legs? His brain? His individuality? Individuality?
What are you, a teenager? Everyone's got to grow up sometime.
I bite down on my tongue. As much as I want to, cursing her isn't going to get me
What's
anywhere.
happening isn't complicated, Dee. You've gotten too attached to your subject of research. You've lost sight of your objectivity. That's all.
Is it that simple?
Happens to the best of us sometimes.
You know what?
Even you.
Push her over the edge, man. We're blowing this popsicle standing. Just drop her ass over the edge. She's turned back to look at me, but she isn't seeing me. She's done talking. The feeling's mutual. Earlier in the day, I had printed out my case study. I had intended to go through it with a red pen. That's right. That night, I fed it to the shredder, page by page. Months of work, gone in moments. It was the best I'd felt in ages. Again, I'd have just pushed her off and bailed, man. In a matter of minutes, I'm going to burn down my entire career. Maybe it's fitting that the planning reminded me of how I designated my first cybernetic hand, linking each step to the next, like titanium phalanges. Phalanges? Oh, man. You'd sound like a goddamn buffoon. While I filed documents, I studied the blind spots in the security. I learned where patrols didn't visit often and where security cameras didn't cover the whole room. I participated in fire drills to search for evacuation routes so that I could avoid them. Fighting back against the YTDI's electronic security was almost easier. Stopping rebels and terrorists back in Staub's heyday had given me a healthy perspective on tech security. DNA signatures, like the ones attached to our keycards, could be spoofed. And an electric lock was useless once you cut its power. As I went through every step, I expected someone to stop me. A guard who'd catch me leaving packages in a dark corner, or a lab tech who'd find the files I was working on suspicious. But no one noticed. Even when I slipped into the security room to inject the virus into their system, I told staff I was just doing an inspection. They looked the other way. Maybe they lived hand-to-mouth lives. Maybe they hate the YTDI as much as I do and want to see it burn to the ground. Whatever the truth is, I'm not interested in psychoanalyzing lower-level staff. I have one job, and I intend to see it through. Getting to Pavel will be simple. I'll enter his room through the small door in the back. No one will suspect me. They'll think I'm conducting another checkup. Just another inane interview to pad out my case study. Escaping will be a much more complicated task. The security cameras are disabled. The safety alarms are wired, and the escape routes plotted. If things go pear-shaped, there's the pyrotechnics I set up ahead of time. But once I trigger the siren, I can't predict who or what'll get in the way. My heart's pounding feverishly. My brain's swirling with phases and countermeasures and backups. I'm painfully aware of every step and every breath I take. Because once I open the dorm room door, there's no going back. I still have a way out. I can leave this behind and go back to my old life. Cut ties with Stop quickly. Retire quietly in a bucolic existence with honors and accolades to my name. Bury my regret and rage in the back of a well-tended flower bed. But if I don't open this door, Pavel will continue suffering. He might not survive graduation. Even if he does, he'll become a nameless drone, a shell of a person marching through life, armed with clockwork thoughts and a plastic smile. I can't abandon him. Not to that. Let's go! Operation Save the Baby Boy is go! Pavel? I'm gonna come closer, okay? Dr. Deidre. Yo, where you at? Now listen to me very carefully. I want to give you something. Oh. Wait, is it another snack? It's better.
Pavel, do you want control?
Oh, shit! Control over what? Your future. I've never really thought about my future. Would you like to? You can take your time. I understand that I'm asking. Yeah.
I do, Dr. Deidre. I want control.
Then take this switch and press the button. As soon as you do, you'll be free.
Let's go.
I take Pavel by the hand and gently guide him out of bed. As his legs clack against the tiles, he wobbles. Do you need help? I ask quietly. We have a lot of ground to cover, and every second is crucial. But if he's in pain, it's okay, Pavel responds. It clearly takes some effort, but he grins up at me. What better way to get used to these legs than a prison break? Despite everything, I chuckle. In between the pulses of the siren, I can hear the hurried footsteps of staff and trainees rushing down the hallway. I take his hand, and we walk through the door I came through. Neither of us look back. The back hall of the dormitory is empty. The alarm lights and the walls blink an angry red as confused personnel jog past us on their way to the emergency stairwell. We walk at first, try to keep my hammering heart under control as we round the hallway. We're still too visible. I can't help but imagine a security officer behind every door we pass. I squeeze Pavel's hand tighter, and he squeezes it back. His steps are shaky. They shouldn't be. Those idiots in processing couldn't even be bothered to calibrate the motors right. But he's stable. And in spite of everything he's been through, he's keeping pace with me. Then I see it. An imposing door with a small blinking key reader beside it. An exit out of the dormitories. Past it, there lay the operating facilities and engineering. Beyond that, the shipping and receiving bay. And further still, the garage door, our way out. Normally, this part of the facility would be swarming with initiative personnel, but the alarms I triggered, all of them should be evacuated to the opposite side of the building. I don't even swipe my card. The latch clicks open when I push it. Suddenly, my steps are faster, my heartbeat louder, and before I know it, I'm running. Pavel trips on the first step, and we nearly crash into each other before he corrects himself. But we run hand in hand past the operating rooms and offices and the open security shutters until, without warning, Pavel's legs buckle. Oh no, not at the 10-yard line! They crumple under him like wet paper, sending him sprawling. I wouldn't be shocked if they have remote access somehow and are able to mess with the actuators or just shut them down entirely. I fall to my knees beside him and struggle to pull him upright. What's happening? Pavel asks. I can't answer him. My eyes go to his legs. The lights are still on, the battery hasn't run out, and they're not responding to him. I can see him trying to move what's left of his legs, and the cybernetics just won't react. My eyes fall on the stop logo on his ankle. I look up to the shutter we've just passed and the security camera blinking on beside it. Shit, I breathe. Dr. Deidre? I almost want to laugh, even as my mounting panic threatens to overtake me. Anti-theft measures. They don't want anyone taking stopped property outside the building. I can hear yelling echoing down the hallway we came through, distant but growing louder. They know where we are. What should we do? Pavel asks, his voice wavering. Dr. Deidre, I don't... Sit still. Quickly, I move to detach his legs. I leave them on the ground, sweep him up into my arms, and bolt. He clings to me, his fingernails digging into the back of my digging into my back through my clothes. His left arm dangles out of my grasp. He's light, far lighter than he should be. As I run for the exit, I squeeze him as close as I can. A security shutter suddenly slams shut in front of me. I turn to pivot. Oh, they're firing! They're shooting! But more come down over every door and hallway, falling into place as heavy as tombstones. Damn it! Damn it! I bite back a scream, try to focus on facts. Security's at my back. I can't hear them getting close. I can hear them getting closer. Combat boots on tile, heavy and hurried. With every second I sit here, panicked and paralyzed, they stomp closer to us. I squeeze my eyes shut. I can feel cold steel gun barrels at my back. Cuffs, bindings, straitjackets. Pavel ripped away from my arms. Disposed of as defective goods or reprogrammed into an ideal product. I can hear that thought. I reach into my lab coat, pull out a second switch, and press it. There we go! Welcome to the fireworks show, baby! The explosions ripped through the hall with a force unlike anything I've ever felt before. They tear through the shutter, blasting me with heat and smoke and debris that nicks at my cheek. I run right into it, and I run right into it as more and more explosions go off throughout the facility. My hidden bombs going off like exothermic dominoes. A burst of red and blinding heat sears my right side, probably scattering shrapnel. I push through the pain, running as fast as I can. My ears ring, my muscles scream, my throat stings. All that there is heat and ash and pain until finally... Daylight? We reach the light. Woo! You did a number! Woo! Nice shot! That's a damn nice shot. Man, we made it far. Wow. I can't believe I actually made it. Pavel, I think we're... Pavel? Pavel? Oh God. Your arm, it's all...
Pavel, please. Speak to me.
Blue.
What?
The sky. It's so blue.
I haven't seen it in so long.
You're hurting. Please don't push yourself. You're already bleeding so much.
But I'll live. I'm no longer there.
Here's the
I'm
shot.
free now,
Here's the shot.
aren't I?
Here's the shot.
Yes. Yes. You are.
There it is. That was real good. Man, it was heavy. It was a lot heavier than I was expecting. You know, like I think like both of these games were done for some kind of game jam, I believe. Like one of them was like probably Spooktober, and the other one was NaNoWriMo, and but the I think the key difference is in how both of them kind of exhibit their horror, whereas the first game's horror was kind of like the unknown. It was you're being told about some very awful things that happen, and you can make a lot of assumptions, and you see how all of those things have affected Caution. You can make a lot of assumptions about the way Caution looks, and the way he's chosen to costume himself, and you know, like the X over one of his eyes was one of the big things that I kind of noticed early on. But we'll get to the other stuff, the extra stuff here in a mo. But and I think that Malviolence was very much focused on the unknown, you know, fear of the unknown, whereas this game's horror and its you know, its awfulness come from seeing directly what they were involved with, and it was really awful. Really hoping that Sharia makes it out. I hope we get to see her again in the future, because she was such a lovely person. I hope that, you know, I hope that she made it out, and that there's a way for her to reconnect in the future with Pavel, and it be a nice moment. But it's hard to say, because again, we blowed that place up real good. I do know that a third Violence game is currently in production, and I'm not sure where that one's going to take place, because we obviously have some time to fill, because now we need to kind of come to understand, well, how did Dr. Deidre become Dr. Danger, and you know, and then Caution ended up becoming, you know, her sidekick, you know, in doing lots of ethical terrorism. But you could also just kind of go with the story that happens after Malviolence in terms of like, well, okay, now that, you know, you've been recruited to the villain's side, like, what do we do now? Like, so there's definitely ways where we could go. I've kind of like, if Motto has posted anything about actual story composition or where it takes place, I've stayed away from it because I tend to avoid those kinds of things. And speaking of Motto has, I've had the chance to actually speak with her a couple of times throughout playing these games because I ran into some bugs and I reported them to her, and she was just super nice to talk to, and it was just really fun to engage with a developer that really cares about what they're doing, and also it's just really on the ball. It was just like, oh, hey, this thing's broken, you got it, you know, and she was just like right on that, fixed it. So yeah, Motto's awesome. Everybody go follow her. But for now, I suppose we will have a look at the extras. What do we got here? We've got the gallery with all the pictures. Oh, it's so good. These are all really, really good. This is really, really bad. You know, no, I can't do it to myself. I can't do it. Nope, ain't gonna do it to myself. Oh, there's a bit of a problem with formatting. Uh-oh. Yeah, its second page got a little borked there. I'll report that to her as well. But we got the music room to listen to all the music, and finally developer notes. Oh God, there's so many. Oh good Lord, that's a lot. You know, I think I might go ahead and call Audible and call it here. This is so much. I hate kind of backing out at last minute, but I'm just like, all right, you know, I am emotionally slammed by this story, which again, it's really, really good. And two, my allergies are just kind of going hyper crazy right now, and I've kind of been fighting through them the last couple of episodes to get this done. So I don't think me sitting here another 5 or so minutes to read through all that is going to do us any good. You should go play the game yourself, and look forward to more of whatever the Violence series has to offer. So that is going to do it for us. I would of course like to thank you as always for letting me borrow some of your time, and I hope you have a nice rest of your whatever wherever you are, and we'll catch you next time. Bye bye.